everyone. Welcome back to another episode of PaynePoints of Interest. I'm Sarah Harbuck, and with me is Mike Payne. And our Reddit question today comes from a user called MyDogs123, and it is real simple and real basic. What's a good way to get funding for starting up your first small business? Mike?
There's so many good answers, even in this. Start a business that doesn't require much funding.
Yeah.
And then use that to fund the next one. That means, go out there and power wash. It's your side hustle.
Yeah.
It's Gary Vee says he does garage sailing. This was actually it's surprising.
He does that now, and he's like a multi-millionaire.
Right. Well, and he's done it for a long time, but he's it's kind of like a hobby for him, but at the same time, it's his side hustle. You can't get what do you have a passion for doing? Is it something you can do to get you quite a few bucks? Go power wash. People, man, I would just pay. It's just the time. Yeah. You can get a really powerful power washer for a couple hundred bucks.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. And learn the ropes of doing business that way. And that is kind of what it's trying to say. It's trying to say do all that in order to fund your own cash levels, your own cash savings, mm-hmm. right? Don't use that business as a means to turn into, extra spending money for yourself. No, every little money's got to go in the bank in savings somewhere.
Because ideally, starting a business without much funding is and then using the money and proceeds from that to fund another one is going to be your best option. The next answer might be if you already have a savings, or if you have family and friends who want to invest in your business. Again, that lends itself to some trickier, stickiness with friends and family.
The friends and family gets dicey.
I don't think I would ever, knowing all the things I know now, ever borrow money from friends or family again, and also never go into business with them. If they want to be a silent partner where they've given you the money and you pay it back in a certain period of time and it's all good and what have you, great. And maybe you have a great relationship with your family in order to do that. I would say it's actually probably preferable to just go get a small loan from a bank. If you have good enough credit, obviously that's going to be a big deal. Because when you borrow money from friends and family, it gets into a whole, unless you have legal contracts and structures and partnerships set up, people can get weird about that. So I don't know. I feel like Mike saying go get a pressure washer and start a small side hustle is probably your better bet. I'd probably rather do that than actually go ask for money from friends and family. Yeah,
the biggest thing is personal loans are going to be a little bit easier if you're just starting the idea of having your own business.
Personal loan.
Because business loans are just so difficult. There's so much that goes into it.
Well, don't you already have to have the LLC and everything set up?
You've got to have the LLC set up. You've got to have a business plan. You've got to have projected financials for 5 years or something like that. And mm-hmm. It's who knows this? What small business owner knows?
They have to go pay somebody to do that for them. Yeah. And if they're going to pay somebody to do that for them, well, then, you just use that money to start your business. The Small Business
Administration was a great idea for a resource, but what it has turned into is that so many, and I can understand why. You've got to vet people who are actually starting small businesses and not just trying to get all the benefits and run away from it, So I don't want to be too terribly libertarian about this concept, but you're better off on your own.
Yeah.
In the start. Now, this is one of the few times you will hear me say this, yeah. Right? That, going out and getting a small business loan, you have to be prepared to do that. If you are prepared, if you have a full-scale business plan, if you have those projections, if you have that history, but if you have all of that, then you may very well already be bringing money in. Mm-hmm. In which case you're going to less need a loan and more need a line of credit. Yeah. Which a bank who sees your financials is going to be more than happy to provide you.
Right.
And then you've got other concepts like venture capitalism. Nobody wants to invest in your small business. it's got to be pretty stinking powerful to get somebody to invest in it. And you're going to have to do a lot of work approaching investors.
Right. Isn't there something called like the angel, what's that called? You know what I'm talking about, right?
There's a website for, for people to pitch their projects.
It's kind of like, what is it, Shark Tank or whatever? They go and pitch an idea more than a product, and it's like getting funding for starting a business based off the idea.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it could entail products. I've never really looked into it, but...
There's Angel Investors
Angel
Networks.
Investors, thank you.
There's a whole bunch of stuff. There was another one, like funded.com. There's a bunch of websites.
Yeah.
They kind of like act like Patreon for angel investors.
Yeah.
It's all...
It's probably highly competitive, though, I'd imagine.
It is extraordinarily and you've got to have prototypes. You've got to have proof that you can actually run a business that does this.
Yeah.
Right?
So if you put that kind of work into it, you may already have the money or the funding and you didn't realize it, or, I feel like going through all those steps, that's for like a major... If you're just going to start a small local business, do you need all of that? I kind of feel like that's a lot. If you're going to start a production on, say, the next best wheelchair, right? I just pulled that out of my head. Start some product where it's some revolutionary redesign. You may need to go and talk to venture capitalists or angel investors or things like that. But like, if you're going to start a mom and pop coffee shop or a bookstore, I feel like what you said, start a business that doesn't require funding and use the money you make off of that to fund another one is probably going to be your best bet, least headaches, and you never know, that side hustle you started may end up actually generating so much revenue that you would be stupid not to turn it into a real business and hire someone to manage it for you and then do the thing you really are passionate about after you've built up a savings account. So I feel like there's a lot of different ways you can do that, getting funding for your small business, and we would love to hear from you. So message us on our website or any of our social media, Facebook and LinkedIn at PaynePoints, and Instagram at Payne.points, and Twitter at PointsPayne. We want to know what you guys think about this, what your experiences have been, and what you did when you started up your business. So hit us up, and we will see you guys next time.